Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are live, and I have been waiting for this day for so long. I want to, first of all, thank Trisha for allowing me to be here. Thank you, Trisha. I was so blown away when you asked me to come speak. I'm a counselor in the school district, and I love talking on this subject. Today, we're going to talk about finding peace, specifically self-care and emotional well-being. And we've been looking forward to having this time together for so long. So thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us this evening. And I just want you to know a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a school counselor. I'm an elementary school counselor currently at Washington Elementary. And I also am a solution-focused specialist. And outside of the district, I also am a family coach and a podcast host. So I get to talk to you as a school counselor and also as a family coach today because you guys are parents that have come here tonight to learn about this important topic. Why? Because you know that it's important. You know deep down that our emotional well-being has taken a hit as parents in the last 12 months. And change keeps happening in this world. And now is the perfect time for us to buckle down and consider how we're going to take care of our personal well-being. And it starts up in our mind, doesn't it? When we're about to lose it or our emotions go wild, it starts up in our mind with all of these thoughts. We might look on the outside like we are chilling and we're doing well, but all of this stuff is going on inside of us, right, parents? I mean, our responsibilities, the things that we have to plan, the things we have to make happen, the stress of the day, the stuff going on with our kids. How are we going to be their best advocate? How are we going to just take care of the next few minutes? This slide kind of like sums up how some of my entire days go. And I want you to consider some of these statements, some of these quotes. It's never ending. And it's exhausting. Nobody understands me or my child. Nobody ever told me that parenting would be this way. I honestly just feel like giving up sometimes. All I can do sometimes is just lay there and cry. This is not what I signed up for when I became a parent. Have any of these things sometimes swirled through your crazy mind? You know, I bet they have, because if you can identify with these, I want you to know that these are exact quotes that I've heard parents tell me in the last month. Exact quotes. Why? Because we all have these thoughts. We all have these things because it's true. Parenting is hard. Now, also, these quotes are direct quotes, most of them from parents that have special needs kids. I want to acknowledge right now that those of you that are the courageous parents that are raising your children in the way they should go, and they have special needs. They have things that they've been diagnosed with and elements that they have to deal with that other people don't. You are the people, you are the parents that need to take care of yourself the most, but the ones that sometimes are put to the back burner because you just are so busy, and people forget to reach out and say, do you need help? And then you allow yourself to get all worked up with the things of the day, thinking things like this. And you wonder why you feel drained. You feel tired. You feel straight up exhausted. I've been there with you. I've sat in those moments when you're feeling the lowest. And I want you to know that this presentation is meant to encourage you, meant to help you know that, yes, you can do things that can help your emotional well-being after all of the things that you do to help your child's emotional well-being. Some of you guys might know my really good friend, Shelly Drew. Miss Drew, she's a special ed teacher right here at CNUSD. And she is one of those teachers that she wears her emotion on the sleeve, but her heart goes out to her parents. And her and I recently had a conversation about how her heart goes out to the parents in these times of change. And, you know, she went out and did something about it. she went out and started asking the community right around us if they would donate things for the parents. And I know it kind of was a way for her to have self-care for herself, because giving is a really great way to have self-care. So those of you that are listening to me that feel like sometimes you have those moments of like, I need to have energy to do something. Take the things that have been given to you. When people offer help, take them. Because the person offering that help, they want to help you. They want to be there for you. And before I even get into my tips, I want you guys to just be very aware of what's going in your mind and figure out who the people are that you can reach out and talk to when you're going through these times. Because there's people that want to help. There's people that want to step in. But today, let's talk a little bit more about what happens up in this crazy mind of ours. We have racing thoughts. We all have racing thoughts. The question is, what in the world are we going to do about them? Now, I'm not going to click on this link, but on this slide, there is a link from one of my favorite people on the internet to follow, one of the good ones, Mel Robbins. And she talks about how sometimes she'll wake up and just feel a feeling of dread all over her. And she's learned from dealing with her own anxiety to interrupt that thought. And before we even get into practical tips, and don't worry, we're going to get there, I want to talk to you about doing that exact thing, interrupting your crazy thoughts. It's kind of like we're going to take them captive, and then we're going to replace them with some other thoughts. Thoughts like, I've survived a lot in my lifetime. I've done a lot of things that are hard, and I can do this hard thing too. Or thoughts about the things that you enjoy. Taking those thoughts and interrupting it. You know, it's kind of like if someone was talking to you and they were saying a bunch of negative stuff about your kid, you'd say, whoa, 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 let me interrupt you right there. You don't see my child when we're cuddling at nighttime, or you don't see the meltdowns they have. You don't know what I go through. Well, do yourself that same type of service and interrupt your own thoughts when they get yucky. Wow, it goes a long ways. Now people think, oh yeah, right. Well, try it. Try it and you let me know. And I bet you can do it, because remember, feelings come and go. They are not you. Your feelings are not you. They are just feelings that come and go. Your reaction to those feelings are completely up to you, and your mindset matters. I mean, what kind of counselor would I be if I didn't bring that to your attention right here and now at the beginning of our time together? Your mindset does matter. So forget putting yourself on the back burner and thinking, oh, I'll get to me later. Doesn't really matter. Yes, it does. Your self-care matters. Your emotional well-being matters. The time that you're giving yourself right now to be in this presentation, it's so special. And it's a gift to you. Whenever you give yourself a little bit of extra time, tell yourself you deserve it, because you do. And when you have those thoughts, like we all do, every parent, interrupt it and tell yourself something different. Because our mind is an absolutely amazing thing, you guys. It is something that we're learning. Science is teaching us, Science is teaching us more and more about how our mind works. Now, recently, I went snowboarding for the very, very first time. It was a crazy thing to try, being that I'm an adult, but I had tried skiing in my 20s, so I went ahead and went for it. And luckily, I got a ski instructor. And as they were teaching me this brand new skill, it was hard to wrap my mind around. I remember that he kept referring to things that I'd already done before. He would say, sit down like you're sitting in a chair. And when he wanted me to look up the mountain, he's all, act like you're peering over a fence when you want to look into the neighbor's yard or something. And yet all of these little things that would connect my mind to something I've already done. I know teachers use that very same strategy when they're teaching kids. I know my workout coach does that same thing. When I'm trying to do a new exercise, they'll be like, okay, act like you're, pouring a pitcher of water. And my mind says, yeah, I've done that. I've done that before. I'm good with that. We need to use that ability that our mind has to connect the dots between things that we have never done, brand new stresses, brand new things in our life, connect the dots to something we have done well, something we have been successful at. So right now, I want you to think of a time in your life that things have been peaceful, that you have felt that you had good emotional well-being, that you've dealt with something in a healthy way. And then you think about the way your body felt, number one, and what was going on during that time in your life. What was happening? And then challenge your mind to start connecting the dots of what are some of those things that you can bring into your life right now. Guys, this is amazing emotional well-being that you're going to be able to achieve when you use this in your advantage. Now, I know that you and all of us have used this to our disadvantage very easily. I mean, doom happens in our mind before we can even think about it when we go, okay, you know what? I've seen this thing happen before and it always ends up this way when your child is throwing a fit or you have an experience with, I don't know, somebody that's about to deal with you that you know is going to be negative, right? But what we need to do is say, you know what? This has never been done. This is a moment that's never been lived. Or has it? I've been successful at things before, and I'm going to allow myself to draw from those things that I've been successful with to help me move into this new space, move into this place where I might be feeling stressed or worried with a different level of confidence. Because I was able to do some of the things that you need to do. I'm not saying I mastered it, but I was able to do some of the things you needed to do to learn a brand new skill, even as an adult, because my mind was connecting those things. So use that to your advantage. And now let's talk about some practical tips. You're like, it's about time, right? And also, Trisha has her eye on the chat, and you guys can put your questions in. If we don't get to, I might answer them along the way as we go. But if we don't, then she can send them to me. I can always get back to you. And we want you guys to feel supported through this entire presentation. But first of all, let's talk about some five proven and science-backed steps to have a path to peace. One is plan time just for you. All right, I'm going to even encourage you to do it in the morning. And there's a reason for that, because research proves that in the morning, we have the best energy, actually. I know you guys are saying, yeah, right. But we do. When the freshness of the morning, there's something really magical about it. The truth is that you can plan any time just for you. Just don't feel bad about it because you need it. Plan a little bit of time. It might just be, you know what? No one's going to interrupt me when I'm in the bathroom, taking a bath. Go out in your jacuzzi if you have it. Whatever it is, take a walk around the block. Time for you. The plus to doing that in the morning is that you can begin to wake up for you instead of waking up for all of the responsibilities that you have to do. We talked about having a mindset shift. This is a little hack to how you might trick your mind into starting off on the right foot from the very beginning. Because when you decide, you know what, I am going to take my alarm and set it 15 minutes before all the hustle and bustle, before I have to do all the things that I've got to do in the day, and give that time to yourself as a gift, and even plan it out. Do some journaling. Write about the things that, I don't know, just kind of like uplift you, some things you're grateful for. Maybe, like I said, you get some exercise. And I'm going to give you some ideas in a few minutes of what you might do to kind of like share with you what I do every single morning that's really changed my life. But do something for you. And the second tip is do something that's fun. Let's not forget what fun is because we're busy parents. Do something that you enjoy. And, you know, our mind might be tricked into thinking that the things we enjoy are not really the most enjoyable things. Sometimes we get caught up with trying to cover up all of the stress, and we are actually not practicing healthy self-care at all. We are self-medicating or just kind of like forgetting about the problem or choosing not to talk about it or, these type of things rather than saying, what are some things that are actually fun to me? What are some things that I really enjoy? Do I really enjoy spending as much time as I spend, I don't know, scrolling on my phone or mindlessly surfing through Netflix? Or do I really enjoy getting into a fun show and finding the fandom for that show and laughing with them? Or do I really enjoy something that I used to do when I was young? Maybe I enjoy hiking or whatever it is for you. Do something fun and do something fun every day. Now, you might be saying, you know what, in my current situation, I don't have the time to do those type of things, but you can do a portion of it. If you enjoy music, put on a song that you enjoy. It might need to be in your headphones if what you enjoy can't be around the kids. Take a break from the kids show and put on a song that you enjoy and just rock out and dance. Every single day, do something fun. And the third tip is check in with yourself often. And I'm going to give you a way that you can do that. But take a minute to check in all day long, every day. Where am I at? How do I feel? Do I need to tone it down a notch? Do I need to get centered? Recently I had on my podcast Joelle Hood, and she is a mindful specialist. And some of you might have heard of her because she did some mindfulness training for CNUSD. And she taught me something that I've used basically all the way through COVID. And I'm going to share it with you because it's helped me so much. When I check in with myself, I breathe in and I breathe out. No big surprise, mindfulness. But when I breathe in, I think. When I breathe in, I do my best. Breathing out, I let go of the rest. Do that with me, guys. We're just going to do that all together, all right? We're going to breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. And when we take the deep breath in, we're going to think, I do my best. Breathing out, I let go of the rest. Ready? Big breath in. Breathing in, I do my best. Breathing out, I let go of the rest. One more time. Breathing in, I do my best. Breathing out, I let go of the rest. Now, when you took that deep breath, I know you felt what I did. You feel a little bit of your body feels calm. Why is that? It's because we need that. We need that oxygen up in our brain. We need it. That's another scientifically proven fact. When you take that deep breath, especially when you couple it with that type of positive affirmation, it's going to help you, and it's going to help your self-care a lot. The next tip that we're going to talk about a little bit more in detail in another slide is to keep it simple, and it's okay to keep it simple. In order to have positive emotional well-being, sometimes we have to adjust our schedule and use social media for the good and not the evil. So first, let's go back to talking about one of my favorite ways of handling stress and anxiety, all right? And my favorite ways to have healthcare, like I said, check in with yourself. And I developed a method of checking in with yourself called checking your vibe. And I started teaching it everywhere. And I started teaching it on my podcast, and other people started bringing me in to talk about it. But it came from a very difficult time in my life that I want to take a minute to share with you guys, if you don't mind. The year before COVID was a really rough year for me. Why? Because on Mother's Day, my mother was sitting on the PCH and she got hit by a car, a drunk driver, going near 100 miles an hour. It flipped her car off the side of the PCH onto the embankment below, and she hadn't even had a chance to put her seatbelt on yet. She was just sitting in her car after watching the sunset, after she had spent the day with her daughters and she had spent the day with me earlier. And in an instant, She had a broken bones from the top of her body to the bottom of her body. Somehow her brain was saved, but her little body was tossed all around that car. She was airlifted to the hospital where she would be in for the fight of her life. And the next day, my brothers and sisters and all of us learned where she was at, and we all rushed to her side. And the next few months were spent with the 5 of us in hospital rooms, in hospital beds, taking care of her, discussing things. And I noticed that, all of us coming together, although it was amazing, all of us had our own energy that we brought into the room at any given time. And one day I was driving home from a time with my mom, and I was pondering this, and I thought, our vibes are really important. A vibe is not just something that we feel in a room. A vibe is something that we have within us, and we carry it with us wherever we go. And we can completely change the way a room feels just by our energy, by the way that we are. And all of a sudden, an acronym came into my mind. And V stands for value. What do you value? I stands for interested. B stands for being bold. And E stands for enjoy. See, I knew in that moment that those 4 things encompassed what we need to do a quick vibe check. Wherever we're at, whoever we're talking to, whatever conversations we're about to enter into, whatever might stress us out, if we think of these 4 things, immediately we can put ourselves into the place that we need to be for the very next moment that we're about to walk into. Value. It doesn't even take that long. You think value. What do I value about this next moment? I'm not talking about the big values of your whole life. I'm talking about the very next moment that you're walking into. What do you value? Is it fun? Is it being honest? Is it being calm? Is it being supportive? Whatever it is, own it. And then interested. Commit to being interested and listening. There is so much power in listening to yourself and listening to others. And then being bold, saying, I am going to be bold in the place that I am. I'm not going to shrink back. I'm going to be my best self. I'm not going to be my worst self and just give in to the woes of the world and then just start to, yell and gripe and complain. No, I'm going to be bold. And in order to be bold, I'm going to show up as the person I want to be, and then enjoy. Enjoy your moments that you are given. Even the toughest of moments are passing by us so very, very fast. Can you believe that we're on the other side of such a strange time with this pandemic and the schools starting and things just a little bit starting to look like maybe a remnants of what we remembered a year ago? We need to enjoy the moments that we had, because I bet you remember certain moments, even about this terrible, tough time, that you treasure. So as you walk forward, if you are able to do a quick vibe check, you will have such an amazing amount of emotional well-being. I've been practicing this ever since it came to me. I started practicing it, and I started working it into my own life before I started teaching it to others. And it has made such a big difference. I even wrote a little course, Conversations That Empower, and I use this as something that you can do to center yourself before an important conversation. When we're about to have a conversation that stresses us out, maybe someone needs to understand something about our own child, or we need to talk about a tough subject. Do a quick vibe check before you walk into that conversation and see how it helps your stress level. I was in an IEP revision meeting just the other day, and I felt the stress that the mom was under, just really expressing herself and expressing where she was at in her life with her child, being that she's right now currently in online work. And many of you guys are still doing online because that's what you chose. And just how her daughter is reacting to it and how she can't break through it. You know, there's many conversations that we're going to be with. So we feel like, oh, we just have to express ourselves. Do a quick vibe check. Lower your stress level. Say, what do I value about this conversation? I value that I'm going to be, I don't know, a listener. I'm going to be patient, whatever it might be. I'm going to be interested. I commit to boldness and I commit to enjoy this moment. So this is one thing that you can also do in the morning. All right. This is my ritual for the morning. It's what I told you that I was going to share with you. Each morning I have a journal and I write down vibe along the side and I write down my intention. All right. So I start my day with intention. So this is something you could do in the morning. It doesn't take that long. And that way you started with on the right foot to wake up for you. All right. You might want to try that out. And if not, then you'll think of your own thing. You'll think of your own great acronym probably, and then share it with me. Email me. Tell me all about it. But like I said, you can do this when you're checking in with yourself throughout the day. Doesn't take that long. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, night, evening, as you transition into a new activity, right before you're dealing with your kids that are fighting, or you have to deal with telling them to, get off their device and go to bed, and it might be a little bit of battle that's coming on. Check your vibe. Put yourself in check in any moment at any given time. All right. And also you can just use it as you go to sleep to put yourself in a good headspace. And then take some deep breaths and practice what we said. Breathing in, you do your best. Breathing out, you let go of the rest. Sometimes you just gotta let it go so you can sleep, right? So let's move on to talking about one of the tips that I brought up. Oh, first of all, guys, you noticed. Let's go back. I have a little QR code here. That's because normally if we were face to face, I'd be giving you handouts, right? I'd be giving you some things to go home with. I don't really like to do a whole presentation and not give you something to walk away with, because I know the way our memory works, you're going to start forgetting the moment I stop talking. So if you're interested, I want to offer you guys a couple of handouts in the form of a free download. So all you have to do to take advantage of that is scan this. I'll have it later in the presentation. If you didn't, scan it with your phone. And then you'll be able to take advantage of a couple of sheets I'm going to show you on the next slide. Because I want you guys to be able to take this tool and use it to be able to lower your stress and anxiety. And then as a bonus, I told you I'm a family coach and I'm a podcaster. I have a group of people that I send a newsletter out to, and I just give regular little tips once a month on how to keep yourself calm. I usually put some ideas out there, and that's what you get by that's what I'm offering you guys today. All right. Just for being here and as a thank you. And this is kind of a little preview of what you're going to get of your very own. You're going to get a copy of the Good Vibes Checklist. And this self-evaluation is a tool that you can use and also use with your family. I've gone through it with entire families every single day for 7 days to kind of really get in tune with yourself. Because sometimes we've been so busy or sidetracked or distracted that we haven't done that for ourselves. So it allows you to ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, which is a solution-focused approach, is to scale where you're at. Take it out of your mind, take it out of your crazy brain, and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I? Where's my vibe on a scale of 1 to 10? And then you think about different times of your day. When I'm with my kids, what would I say my vibe is? When I'm with my significant other, when I'm alone, how's my self-talk doing? When I'm at work, when I'm with family, when I'm able to be out with a friend maybe, or when I'm in a Zoom call, all right? What is my vibe? And then you decide, what is it that I need to do to make that better? Put that in practice, and then you track it over a period of 7 days. You can have that absolutely free as a download. And then I'm also going to give you a pinup that you can print out, you can put up in your kids' room, wherever, so you guys can remember the things you need to do to check in. All right. So that will be what you get when you get that download. Just look at it as my handout for the presentation. And now let's talk a little bit about keeping things simple. You might think that that sounds like it's a cop-out, right? Like, why would I dumb things down? No, we need to step it up. Well, maybe. But when we're talking about self-care, when we're talking about emotional well-being, sometimes you need to lower your expectation. Yeah, I said it. Lower your expectation. All right. Sometimes your child is being triggered because their mind is telling them, I don't know if I can do all of this. I don't know if I can wrap my mind around it. And when that happens, especially those of you that have been doing online work, what does your kid do? Fight or flight kicks in. They're like, I'm out of here. I'm going to throw a fit. I'm going to divert my attention. I'm going to complain, whatever. You see, their mind is thinking, I might fail at this, and therefore I'm out. It is okay, parents, to simplify things. It's okay to expect a little bit better instead of all of it all at once. For your own well-being and for self-care, sometimes that's exactly what you need to do, is simplify it. It's a good move for you, and it's a good move for your child as well, because sometimes you actually need to be able to take a breath and say, you know what? I'm not going to expect all of this change to happen at once. I'm not going to expect ideal behavior in this moment. I'm not going to have my expectations at a place that's unrealistic, actually. Although it's idealistic and I'd like for that to be, it's just not. So give yourself a break. If your child is struggling in an area, well, think of something small that they might do to achieve that goal. Something small that's a step forward. And then when that happens, when a behavior begins to trigger you, and you know that you're triggered by certain behaviors, learn to step back and say, you know what? Maybe I need to change my expectation in this manner for my own well-being and ultimately for the well-being of my child. Because if they feel that something is doable, they're more likely to give it a shot. All right? Little mindset shifts. They can make a huge difference. Now, I know that some of us deal with extremely challenging behaviors from our kids from time to time. As parents, it's really hard to know exactly how to handle those behaviors that are really a lot. And you guys know something's popping in your mind like, yeah, it can be a lot. And I want to draw your attention to one of my podcasts, podcast number 32. All right. It is specifically by a specialist in handling the most challenging behaviors, Eric Wagner. All right. I interviewed him and I talked to him. He is a professional in this manner. And I really encourage you guys to look up my podcast, Parenting 2.0, The Focused Mindset, and listen to that episode if you're one of the parents that are really dealing with challenging behaviors and you're thinking, all this self-care is great, but I need some practical things that I can do today. There's one tool that I can offer you. There's many out there, but seek out help. Seek out assistance in that challenging behavior. Eric Wagner is one person that has some amazing abilities to really help you target the behavior and the reason for the behavior, and then move forward from there with your child. All right. So like I said, that's episode 32. I've actually linked this. So if you guys are all listening, you should be able to click this on your computer and it will go to that link, but you don't have to do that right now. Maybe just take a picture and you can look it up wherever you listen to podcasts. But I did do an awful lot of linking. Since I don't know through Zoom, someone will have to let me know if the links actually work, but you should be able to click on these things and it'll take you to where you need to go. Or like I said, take a picture. All right. So anyway, let's move on. I love this picture, don't you? Sometimes dads, you just need to play with your kids. They just need you. They just need to play with you. Just be the fun dad now and then. And mom, same thing. Just get down and play with them. That's what you got to do. Moms, dads, uncles, aunts. Anyway, all right. So let's move on. I digress. So here I am, guys. Snowboarding, right? We're back to snowboarding. Let's talk about it. Don't I look like I'm just having a blast, right? This is a perfect photo, perfect for Instagram, perfect for Facebook because I'm on it. Now, let me let you know the way it actually was. Guys, snowboarding was awful. It was the most terrifying experience of my life. I looked in the eyes of my instructor before my time was up and I was on my own. And I said, and I meant every word, this is the scariest thing I have ever done. That's the way my body felt. I think I had a full-blown anxiety attack on that mountain, but I had my kids there that had never snowboarded before. So I had to somehow put a smile on my face and say, yeah, we're doing this. This is fun. All right. I had the stress of thinking about the amount of money that my husband spent for us all to go snowboarding, rent snowboards, and all of these lessons. Look it up. Not cheap. I had that stress. We've got to have fun. We've got to. But the truth of the matter was, I hated it. I was not having fun. I wasn't having fun when I smiled in this picture, and I wasn't having fun for the entire day. And what does this show you? Don't always believe what you see in pictures. Do not, for the sake of your self-care, do not look at these other things that people post and then assume that that's their whole life. And then wonder, what about my life? I can't have kids that are looking that great. They are making a souffle together and, a beautiful cake that looks like a gem. And me, my kid has chocolate all over their face because they got into chocolate and I'm about to feed them cereal for breakfast. Guys, don't believe it. Don't believe what the Facebook picture. Everyone struggles. Everyone's going through it. And you do not know the full story behind the cute picture. I should have taken a picture, but I didn't because, I'm just like everyone else. Smile. I should have taken a picture of the way I really looked. That would have been great for this presentation. It was, I hate this. That's the way that I felt on the inside. Anyways, so this leads into our next tip, right? For self-care. No doom surfing. We're going to get rid of the doom surfing, guys. And now you pretty much will know what doom surfing is, but just in case you need to know, doom surfing, or otherwise known as doom scrolling, is the act of spending time scrolling and clicking on your social media, clicking on other social media posts that are negatively affecting your mood and your stress level. All while you believe that you're relieving stress by having time to yourself on social media. It's a trap. Steer clear. Steer clear of this doom surfing trap and learn to use your social media for the good and not the evil. I do not believe that you should completely get rid of it. Yes, there is good, like Mel Robbins that I mentioned earlier, such a positive force in my life. Honestly, I don't know if I would have started my podcast and the focused mindset community that I've started in any of my little side gig thing besides counseling if I wouldn't have listened to positive people like her. So use it for the good, right? If there's someone that resonates with you, that's filling you up with joy, or even, I don't know, some book, the books that you could listen to or read, oh my gosh, you can spend your time doing things that uplift you. All right. And that's where we need to spend our time. I really encourage you, honestly, to move your energy and redirect it from the time that you spend scrolling. Rather than that, search out some things that you love. Use YouTube in your favor. Search out all the things that you've always wanted to learn. Be curious and interested in all of that. How about podcasts? Like I already mentioned, if you haven't already found podcasts, if you have, you're going to be like, yep, I hear you. But oh man, I find people that I resonate with and the things that I love. And then I find a few people that can breathe that stuff into me in a way because I just put on my headphones and listen to it. My husband listens to podcasts about lifting weights and working out. And I've watched his life transform because he's putting himself first in that way. His self-care has completely improved because he's able to shake off all of the junk of his office and the responsibilities that are on his shoulders and listen to guys talk about working out and lifting weights. That's what he enjoys. Before that, he had podcasts, and he still does listen to, not as much since sports went away, but about betting and football betting and stuff. It's been such a weird year, not so much, but they have those. All right. I was inspired to start one, as you know, Parenting 2.0, the focused mindset. Why? Because I love helping parents. It energizes me. I love taking stories about the silly stuff I've been through or silly stuff that I've seen in counseling. And I always change the names, so don't worry about that. And share it with parents. Why? Because we're all in this together, So find some podcasts that resonate with you and listen to them instead of being on social media, right? But either way, doom surfing, it's got to go. It's got to be kicked to the curb, guys, because like I said, it's a trap. An hour went by. Do you feel better actually? Probably not. You might feel worse. So let's think about how we're spending our time online, because spending time online is pretty much a part of our life. Our phones are pretty much a part of our life, right? It's not going anywhere, but we're in control of how we use that time. So use it to uplift you. Use it for your self-care, not for mindless doom surfing that's bound to actually have your mood go down, down, down. No, let's do the opposite of that. And in a little bit, I think it's the next slide. So I have to let me see. Oh, yes, it is. In the next slide, immediately you're going to hear one of the parent coaches that I've come across that I really respect. Her name is Christian Moon. And she has been through a lot in her life. And she's one of those people that's done, like I said, my friend, Miss Drew has done. And she has turned that around and now help other parents. And I brought her on as a guest in my podcast. And she recently, and I just want to show you a little clip of our interview, just a little clip when she was sharing at the end about her advice to parents that are stressed out. So let's listen to that.
Neat to talk to a like-minded mom all the way over Michigan. Here I am in California. And, just be able to have a meeting of the minds to say, wow, it's tough sometimes being a parent. But when we do it together, when we talked about it, it makes it seem lighter. It makes it seem so much easier.
It does.
I mean, what would you say? I mean, I just want to hear you speak to that parent that's going through it. They're going through it right here, right now, and they're feeling like this is my dark hour. Their thoughts are icky. What would you say to that parent right now?
What I would say is that it gets easier. It may not seem like it will, but it does. It just starts with just trying different things every day. Some things may not work. But at the same time, I feel like just trying and implementing just a little bit of time for yourself, whether it is journaling, whether it is just, like I was telling Cher, just going in the bathroom and locking yourself away from your kid for 20 minutes just to get a good soak in a tub, whatever it is, just taking that time for yourself, because you do want to take time for yourself so you can be a better mom. And also to just understanding that as parents, our job is to be mothers for sure, but you were a woman before you were a mother, and just don't forget that you matter too.
Neat to talk to a like-minded mom all the way over Michigan. Moon here I am in California.
Can be found on
just
this
be
episode,
able to have 51. A meeting of the minds to say, wow.
And if the links work,
it's
you can click it right here, and it will take you to Spotify.
But when we do it together,
if you guys like
when
listening
we talked
to Spotify.
About it, it makes it seem lighter.
But
it's
episode
easier.
51. The ambitious mom coach Christian Moon helps
I just want to hear you
with
speak
purpose
to that parent that's going through it. they're going through it right here, right now, and they're feeling like this is my dark hour.
And I can't tell on my end if that video is done yet. So if I'm talking over it, I'm sorry. But
what I would say is that it gets
hopefully
easier.
you're able to listen to her message. And if not,
it will, but it does.
You can log on and listen to the entire episode. It's really one of those things that you could just hear her heart. And she shares the tips of how, when you're going through the trenches, what can make it a little better. And
I was telling Cher,
I really encourage you guys to hop over and listen to this particular episode. And I have some links here. I did start a community of parents that can really kind of like bound together and be there for each other through doing this podcast and through putting myself basically out there to help. So here's this QR code again.
To talk to a like-minded mom all the way over
Michigan.
Here I am in California.
And you hop over,
just be able
put in your email, and
to say, wow,
it will come directly to whatever to your device, and then you could download it.
When we do it together,
and then you can have the gifts that I have for you, and then ongoing each month.
So much easier.
And
what would you
every
say?
Week,
I mean,
I
just want to hear you
that I hope
speak to that parent that's going through
and help parents like
they're going through it
to
right
just
here,
feel
right now,
encouraged
and this
uplifted.
Is my dark hour. Their thoughts are icky. What would you say to that parent right now?
All right. So as we wrap up, what I want you guys to begin to do is kind of a practice for yourself. All right. If you don't already have something, try and get a pen and paper right now, or get out your notes in your phone. And I want you to start thinking before your mind even starts forgetting, what are the things that you can do for yourself and feel great about, and not in any way feel guilt, and in no way feel bad about taking this minute to brainstorm about the things that you could do, the things that you can do for you. In this moment right now, write them down. What are some things that are fun? What are some things that are healthy that you enjoy? What are some things that you need to incorporate that you've forgotten about that you love? Let's take a minute to write those things down right now so you can commit to them. Was there something in this presentation that you thought, I want to learn more about that? I want to do more of that. Write it down. Write it down, and that's the very first step. The things that we write down, we're 25% more likely to complete. That's scientifically proven. So that's why I want you to take a minute. And maybe you wrote notes in this presentation. If so, read them back, process them, because you are the expert in your own life. Do you realize that? You are. You know yourself better than anybody. And when you start speaking the things into your life that really are the things that motivate you to be yourself, you won't believe what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what you've already been through. It doesn't matter the trauma or the past hurt or the stress level as high as it's been. What matters is the here and now. What are we going to do today to have your emotional well-being strong? Never hesitate to reach out, like I said at the beginning, to the people that are willing to help you. Know your tribe. Know the people that are out there, and then say yes when they ask you for help or ask for help. Remember that every one of your kids' campuses have counselors like me, and you can reach out to them and ask them to come alongside you and look out for your little one, and have a Zoom call with them, or have a meeting, a short walk around the campus with them when they come on campus, whatever it might be. That's a great support. It's my joy to be a counselor. It's my career. I mean, I love it. So people that are there, find them, and maybe take a minute right now, write down some people that you know. that you could reach out, that could fill you up, that could uplift you. You know, all of us have some people in our life that drag us down, and sometimes there's nothing we can do about that. They're just in our life. But then, who are the people that don't drag you down? Have you called them lately? Have you texted them lately? Have you been a part of their life? Have you offered help? When you offer help, sometimes the stress just drifts away. So, we have talked about a lot of things today. And most of all, I just want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you again for spending the time with me. Thank you for thinking of me, the organization. You didn't have to do that. You had a lot of people, I'm sure, that could have filled this spot this month. And it was my privilege to spend this time with you. And I hope that you're able to move forward and know that, yes, you can be your best self. You can practice self-care, but more than that, you're enough. You're enough to do this, and you got what it takes. Just take steps forward. And it's time for me to sign off. Almost an hour together. So until next time, keep in touch, guys, and take care.